Hi, this is Gary and Barb. We're from Wisconsin, and we'd like to tell you a quick story about our nightmare with the banks and the court system and so forth. We owned a business back in 2006. By 2008, the country started to decline drastically. Our local General Motors plant closed. We held on to the business as long as we could. But things started going bad south right after that. We also had the housing bubble occur, the banks collapsing, the whole thing, GM's too big to fail, that kind of thing came out at that time. All these programs and help that was available from our government went to all the big guys, and it didn't trickle down to small business owners like ourselves. So by 2013, we could no longer keep the business afloat. So we decided to close our doors. Prior to that, in 2009, we had taken out a home equity loan to help pay off some smaller debt that we had, plus we borrowed additional money to help with our business to keep it going. We did this through a bank called Anchor Bank, which was based out of Madison, Wisconsin. At that time, they had the best interest rate, they had the lowest closing costs, everything was on the up and up, and we thought we were set for a while. Then, within a few years, that bank started to decline. They had some high executives in the company that were convicted of bank fraud, actually spent time in jail, that kind of thing. The bank also received around $139 million in TARP funds that was supposed to be distributed to businesses like ours back then to help us get by. And none of that money got distributed as far as we know, and it has, to this day, has not been paid back as well. So this is Anchor Bank that we're dealing with. This is who we had our loan through. That was August of 2009, and by September of 2009, our bank was sold to Fannie Mae. So now we're just dealing with Anchor Bank as a servicer. And we were fine up until about 2013 when we decided to close our doors. Our business was paying the monthly payment. It was a 10-year note, and it was designed to be drastically paid off in a short time. At that time in 2009, we didn't expect the tragedy of everything that was going on around us to occur, so we thought we could handle that aggressive way of paying down that note. In 2013, once we closed the doors, I lost my income, and we were living on my husband's income at that time. We could no longer afford this note that was designed to be paid off very quickly. It was over $1,200 and some a month payment on it. So we decided to do a modification on the loan with Anchor Bank. And at that time, Anchor Bank was still on the up and up. We hadn't heard anything negative about them. Who'd have thought back then, prior to everything going to hell in the country, that banks were so crooked. So I'm sure things were going on. We just weren't aware of them at the time. But at that time, we didn't know any better. So we went through a remodification plan with them. While we were going through that plan, Anchor Bank ended up filing for bankruptcy and
Chapter
reorganization. I do not believe that went through successfully, but regardless, long story short, they eventually went out. Their executives went to jail. An Old National Bank out of Evansville, Indiana, I believe it is, took over that bank. I believe they got it through the court system, so they probably got it for pennies on the dollar. They could have gotten that $139 million in the course of all this acquisition. We don't know, but regardless, they haven't paid back that money either as far as the Anchor Bank part of it. So now we're dealing with, and this going through the modification, which isn't in place yet, we're going through the folks at Old National Bank.
Let me explain